Some stories aren't meant to scare you. They don't come with warnings. They don't announce themselves as haunted. They don't even feel dramatic while they're happening. They just live with you. This isn't a legend. It isn't something I read online or heard secondhand. This is a place I grew up in. An apartment in Yonkers, New York. A building that looked ordinary on the outside and never quite felt empty on the inside. What you're about to hear isn't a single event or one moment you can explain away. It's a series of things spread across years, witnessed by different people at different times. You can decide for yourself what it was. All I can do is tell you what happened. I grew up in Yonkers, New York, in a 3-story apartment building that had already lived a long life before my family ever arrived. My parents moved in during the 1970s. By then, the building had decades of stories layered into it. The kind you don't hear about right away. The kind that waits. In the basement, each apartment had a small storage bin. One day, my parents noticed a white wardrobe sitting in one of them. They asked the owner of that bin, a man named Mr. Madden, if it belonged to him. He had never seen it before. He had no idea how it got there. No memory of moving it in. No explanation at all. He told my parents they could have it. So they brought it upstairs. Years later, my mother woke up in the middle of the night. Sitting on top of that dresser was an old man. He was decrepit, still, just sitting there staring at her and at my father beside her. My dad was not a believer, not in ghosts, not in anything supernatural. And whatever this presence was, it didn't feel violent. It didn't feel threatening. So Mom did not wake Dad up. She lay there until morning, convincing herself it had been a dream. Until my father spoke. He asked her, casually, like he was asking about the weather, if she had seen an old man sitting on the dresser during the night. That's when she knew it hadn't been her imagination. My father died in 1991. After that, the apartment felt occupied. On New Year's Eve, 1993, my mother was getting ready for work. She stood at her mirror, putting on her makeup. The mirror faced her bedroom door, which opened into my sister's room. And in the reflection, she saw a little boy walk past the doorway. He looked exactly like childhood photographs of my father. The boy walked calmly and then passed straight through the wall. That night, my brother, my sister, and I all slept together in the living room. None of us wanted to be anywhere near the bedrooms. I couldn't sleep. And at some point in the night, I heard and felt human footsteps running past me. Not shuffling, not dragging, running. In the summer of 1995, my sister was staying at a friend's place. I slept in her room. At 5 in the morning, a poster on her wall, right next to the bed, began to shake. violently, loudly. I was too terrified to look. I lay there, frozen, listening to it rattle, trying to convince myself it would stop on its own. When I couldn't take it anymore, I reached over and turned on the lamp. The moment the light came on, it stopped. And finally, this last story was told to me later, while I was in the Navy. Some of the details might be off, but the fear isn't. My sister went into my mother's room to tell her she was going out. The lights were already off, but somehow, she could see eyes. She hesitated, uncomfortable. Then she said, "Mom?" And whatever was sitting in the bed answered, "I'm not your mother." My sister didn't come home for a week. I don't know what lived in that apartment. I don't know what came with that dresser, or what stayed after my father died, or why some things chose to appear as familiar faces, while others didn't bother pretending. I just know that for years, that place never felt empty. And sometimes, the most unsettling hauntings aren't tied to cemeteries or legends. They're tied to the places you once called home. I don't tell this story to convince anyone of anything. I don't know if what lived in that apartment was tied to an object, or to grief, or to something that had always been there long before we arrived. What I do know is that whatever it wasn't constant. It came and went. It watched. It waited. And when we finally left that apartment, it didn't feel like we were escaping something violent. It felt like we were leaving something behind that had simply grown used to us. Some places don't scream. They don't slam doors or rattle chains. They just remind you, quietly, that you were never alone. Thanks for listening, and good night.